So we want to go over how to run a mock round for an NOSB game. So once your teams have come in and sit down, you have your 4 team members on each team. Like I said, we're doing 2 on one team and 2 on another team for the sake of space. Hey, teams. The first thing you want to do, I'm gonna play the moderator, the rules judge, and the science judge. The rules judge and science judges you shouldn't need unless there's a challenge or a question that the moderator might have about the pronunciation or an answer or something like that. So in that case, you can talk amongst yourself and decide, but for the purposes of this, I'm just going to pretend I'm the moderator right now. Okay, so I'm going to let Franny explain the clock before we get started, and then I'll start a round.
So Franny's the timer.
All right, so once the battery is inside, because we do keep them separate, you, in the center here, you've got your hours, minutes, and seconds. You're going to click here for minutes. If you were doing, say, 6, you start by clicking this far, I guess if I'm looking at it, left button, and it starts counting down. There's also the option to count up. We prefer counting down. And you can pause it by pressing this button on the right. And you can continue it by pressing the button on the right as well. And to clear it, you can just click start. Well, start again, but I guess it's just keeping, there we go.
Okay, so how did you end up doing that with
I just clicked this button as much as possible.
It'll reset eventually.
It'll reset, okay.
Okay, so what I'll do is at the beginning of every round, the moderator has several jobs. The first job is to make sure that all the equipment that we're working with works, okay? So I'll ask for Team A if you can test your buzzers. Now, when the buzzers buzz in, it is either the rules judges or the science judge's job to press this little red button to clear the system, okay? Because it is a lockout system, meaning try and press your buzzers now, everybody else. Nobody else can lock in. Oh my gosh, that's great. That's how it works. That's how it's supposed to work, okay? I'll clear and go ahead. All right, Team B. Perfect. Since all of the buzzers work, I'll go ahead and make sure that 6 minutes are set on the clock here.
Do you want to explain about the little stopwatch?
Sure. So for the stopwatch, if I completely read through a question, the timekeeper should press the stopwatch and the teams have 5 seconds to buzz in. Once I read a bonus question, as soon as I complete the question, the timekeeper will press the stopwatch for 20 seconds, and the team has 20 seconds to answer. When they have 5 seconds left, you'll say 5 seconds, and they have 5 seconds to start their answer. If they don't complete it, if they don't start their answer within the 20 seconds, the answer is invalid, and they don't get any points.
They buzz in?
Yep. They do not need to buzz in for a bonus question. Okay? So this is what's going to happen, team, since you guys have never done this before. I'm going to read a question, okay? And you can choose to buzz in while I'm still reading all of the options, which means you know the answer automatically, or you hear the answer and you can buzz in right away, right? And you can say what you think the answer is, W, X, Y, or Z. We don't use A, B, C, or D because A, B, C, D they sound too alike, okay? If you wait for me to read the question in the entirety, then obviously there's some strategy to that, right? Somebody could buzz in before you, okay? Once you buzz in, I have to recognize you, okay? So I have to say, Team A, player 1, and then you may answer. If you say an answer before I recognize you, that is a blurt. You don't get any points, and the other team has the option to answer the question, okay? And they can hear the question in its entirety, and they can hear all the answers in its entirety. So it's in your best interest to make sure that I recognize you, okay? I will say if it's an interrupt or if it's just an answer, and I will just say, interrupt Team B, player 2, or whatever. And then you will know by that how to keep the score. So the scorekeeper is going to be keeping score over here. We have a lovely scorekeeper cheat sheet that will come in every single one of your rooms, and that will help you as you go through the games. It'll start to become second nature, but they're there to help you. Okay. At the beginning of every single round, the moderator also has to read 3 key rules, okay? I will be there on Saturday. I will read all of these rules. So here's a 2-sided awesome page. I'm going to have a lot of water with me. That I will read the rules through during the opening ceremony. Okay, so everybody will hear these rules read through completely once. Once that has happened, if you get into the competition room, the moderator just has the option to say, do you waive the right of reading the rest of the rules? Most teams will say yes. They might not, but most teams will say yes, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and start as the moderator. Before we get started, I would like the coaches of both teams to come forward. Please introduce yourselves, shake hands, and sit together in the back row. They would come, they would shake, they would move.
Okay.
Alternates on each team should also come forward, introduce themselves, and sit at the back of the room during the match. Same thing. Some will have alternates, some will not. Players, please state your name and buzz in to verify that your systems are working properly.
Zach.
Carissa.
Amanda.
Steve.
Excellent. Please let me remind you and the audience of several important rules we will be carefully observing during this match. 1. All electronic devices, including cell phones, MP3 players, calculators, Kindles, etc., must be turned off and kept in a pocket, purse, or bag throughout the entire competition round, even during the 2-minute break. 2. Audience members may not take any notes or review any reading materials, including textbooks, novels, or papers, with the exception of the provided competition program, during the entire competition round, even including the 2-minute break. 3. When a competition starts, no one may leave or enter the room except the approved event photographer, room runners, or appropriate competition officials.
Okay.
Do my teams waive the right to hear the rest of the rules? Yes?
Okay,
Excellent.
stop.